Hello, hello to everybody who is out there waiting with bated breath. Speaker Insight here, Kelly and Helena, for those of you that don't know us. And for those of you that watched our Facebook Live last week at 1 o'clock, we talked a little bit about something called the buzz in your business. If you don't know what that's about, then don't worry too much and go and watch that video, because it really is important and it is part of what we're going to be talking about today. The buzz in our business is vast at the moment. We're really quite excited because we're just off the back of our 2.5-day retreat, and it was amazing.
It was phenomenal, basically.
It was phenomenal, even if we say so ourselves, but actually we're taking that from what everybody else said, so not bigging ourselves up too much here. The other kind of bit of buzz in our business, and for those of you who are obviously on the page live right now, you can look kind of above you. You'll see that we had a photo shoot, and one of those photos is actually in our banner right now, so we were really excited about that. And we hit another milestone for us. We've got over 200 members in our Facebook group called the Connection Hub. So really, we are on a roll.
Yeah, and as we said last week, what's the buzz in your business is how you do networking and tell people actually what's going on, to put context to what you do. So we're going to be practicing what we preach, and every week on our Facebook Lives is telling you what the buzz is, so you can hone that skill for you. So what we really wanted to talk about today was about building connections, purely because we've been 3 weeks going and we've got over 200 members in our group, and not just the numbers, right? You guys are engaging, commenting, sharing. We're absolutely loving what's happening in just these last few weeks. And when we were discussing about actually what should we call this Facebook Live, this probably illustrates a little bit about how we work, right? So we knew that the outcome was for you guys to learn how to get more followers, more engagement, all those types of things. So I said, okay, why don't we call it how to connect and engage with your audience?
She was doing all of these engagement and attraction and whatever, and I went, why don't we call it how to touch hearts and minds?
So that sort of gives you an illustration of like the left brain, the right brain, and how we work. And so we met in the middle of how to get more connections.
How to get more connections, which is what we think you all actually really want.
That's the outcome, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to focus on today. Now, because we're on, let's see, we've got some comments coming in.
Yeah, we
hey,
do.
Joe,
We're
hey,
saying
Brett.
hi to Joe and Brett.
Good to see you all on. So because you're on Facebook, we're going to cover mainly social strategy on Facebook, because you're here, so we know it's relevant. But I would probably say that if your avatar or ideal client are speakers, authors and coaches, and you're in that field, then 90% of your clients are going to be on Facebook. So this is going to be relevant for most of you. And really what you need to do on the Facebook side of things is actually raise awareness of your profile and work out a strategy, not just spraying and praying, as some people call it, right? And just putting stuff out there and not really following what converts and not having a strategy to stick to. Because one, that gives your customers consistency and expectations of what to know you're going to get from you, but it also helps you manage your time. The thing with social is people go, I haven't got enough time to do it. Yeah. I think it's going to take all the time, but that's because you're doing it every day. Yeah. I say to people, put the first Monday of every month aside to plan your content, schedule it, and then you just have to rock up half an hour a day and answer comments and do the engagement bit. The actual content is all done. Yeah. So we're going to cover mainly on Facebook. We're going to do many more Facebook Lives on other platforms, but because you guys are here, we're going to cover Facebook. Yeah. Now, there are two things to consider. You've got your Facebook page and you've got your Facebook group. So in the comments below, I'm interested. Tell me if you've got a page, a business page, or a group, or both. Just write the word page, group, or both in the comments.
Or several, because some of you have probably got several. So just write, I've got 3.
So what I'm going to do first of all is talk you through the strategy for both of them, okay? So then we'll start with the page. Your page, first of all, about naming it, should be named on your brand, right? Yeah. So ours, for example, is called Speaker Insight because that's our brand. Yeah. If you are, say, you're the name of your brand, then it's your name. But you want to differentiate that between your personal profile, whether that's by your photo or by putting a limited company after it, or whatever it might be. But it's the brand of your company is your page. Now your page is basically where you promote what you're doing. It's like a website on Facebook. It's like a website page. So on that page, you want to be telling people what gigs you're speaking at, what's going on, what's the buzz basically in your business,
Totally.
right? What's happening that week? What have you got to promote that's going on so people can go, oh, you know, I know Brett, he's a leadership coach and he's speaking at that stage with young leaders next month. Oh, I didn't know he did that type of work.
Yeah.
I'll go and check him out.
Yeah.
Right, so it's to profile what you do as a business. It's not where you want to encourage conversations to happen.
No.
Right? That's the difference between the page and the group. The page is all about promotion and not in a self-promotion
No,
way,
no, no.
right?
It's actually about really ensuring that you are thinking about them. What is it that my avatar, my audience might like to hear about? What are the tiny little snippets of expertise or resources that I can point them in the direction of that allows you to showcase you and support them at the same time?
Yeah. So it's not about ego, look at me, look
No.
at me. You're still supporting them, but it's profiling what you do.
Yeah.
Now, the only little caveat I have about this is I recommend that your Facebook Lives happen on your page.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you do want to have like communications and engagements and stuff going on the Facebook Live, but what you don't want to do is do that in your group. And the reason why you don't want to do it in your group is because people can't share it in your group. So if somebody goes, oh, that was a great Facebook Live, I want to share that to that person, you can't share outside of the group. Some people have an ad strategy as well, where they actually put Facebook advertisement around their Facebook Lives, and you can't do that if it's in the group.
Yeah.
So you want to do your Facebook Lives on your page, and it also gives people an understanding of your personality. So they might watch as your business review, what's the buzz in your business, and go, have you liked those two? They're a bit of a double act, right?
No.
Or they don't like you, and they get an insight into who you are and your personality, and also a bit of your content.
Yeah.
Do they really know what they're talking about?
And it also it can feel like a really safe way. You know when you make a recommendation to someone else, you like what you've seen, but actually sharing it just feels that little bit safer because they're going to judge you a little bit on what you share with them. And actually being in any group actually takes a little bit of time and energy and sort of connection in that way in itself. And so you want to kind of test the water with people. Having your Facebook Lives on the page allows people to just get a taste without committing. It's a bit like that dating thing of, you know, we don't necessarily need to kiss on the first date. You know, it's just like, I just want to check you out first. Is there any chemistry? Or do I just walk away and kind of...
Yeah, definitely. Try before you buy.
That's it.
Scenario.
Yeah.
So that gives you a bit of an understanding of what to do on your page. Very promotion based. Treat it like a business page on Facebook. But you don't want to encourage too much conversation and questioning going on there. Yeah. At the end of all of your Facebook Lives, I highly suggest that you do a call to action to come and join your group, right? So that they've got that try before you buy. They go, yeah, I want to know a bit more about these guys. How do I engage with them more? And that's when you say, come and join my group, because in my group I do this and this and this, and tell them what you do, tell them the resources and the things that you share so they can see the value. And put that as your call to action at the end of your Facebook Lives.
And there's something about kind of setting an expectation of what might actually happen. Why might you actually go in there so that people go, actually that sounds like the kind of thing, that sounds like me, that sounds like the kind of thing I need, that sounds like the kind of thing I would like, and actually I quite like the style of these people. So that's what kind of happens. What it allows you to actually make your way in.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there might be some headline milestone things that you've got going on, and you do a Facebook Live and you want to promote a webinar at the end, or you want to promote your retreat, or you're speaking on a certain stage. Don't think always the call to action has got to be join your group. Yeah. But majority, I'd probably say 80% is join your group, and 20% is if there's something going on.
And so Bethan's just actually kind of asked a question around, is it advised to have a separate log-on details for your personal Facebook profile and your business page and group?
So you can't set up a business page or a group without the personal profile. You have to have that, right?
Yeah.
And if you're working with digital agencies, you can give people administration rights or editor rights, so you can actually give people who are scheduling content for you, or both of us have the ownership of the page, so we both have different rights.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do things under different names, right? We'll probably do a completely different Facebook Live about this, about the way that Facebook have changed in their algorithms, and actually it's all about the personal story and how you're in your brand, that actually we're going to benefit more than the big guys that are faceless.
Yeah.
So to have that personal attachment, but you don't have to rock up in your group as you, in your page as you as an individual.
Yeah.
So you'll see, and just check us out, right? In the Connection Hub,
Yeah.
I rock up as me, and sometimes I rock up under the Speaker Insight logo.
Yeah.
So choose, it's completely on your terms. Choose how you want to run this, and if you don't want to have your personal profile attached to anything, don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad you've got your answer, Beth, and it's perfect. And so that leads you on to the naming of your page may actually well be, as Kelly says, the brand or you, depending on how you are actually standing out. That might depend on whether you're a speaker, author, coach, and also what your intentions are for the actual page that you've got. More on intentions later, so you sort of...
Yeah, I mean, I think the brand name, as I said, is the business. So when we flip over to the group, right?
Yeah.
The page is all about you and your business. The group is all about them.
It's all about them.
Right? So I don't want your business name and your name as the name of the group.
No.
I would highly advise you to think of your avatar or your ideal client and think, what's their main aspiration?
Yeah.
What's their collective thing that most people want? And I'm going to use the Connection Hub as an example, right?
Of course.
So we know that speakers, authors and coaches find it really hard to run a business by themselves. So they want to feel connected. They want to feel connected to others like minds.
Yeah.
They want to feel connected to people that support them, resources. So connection's a really big aspiration for our avatar.
Yeah.
So there's no mention of speaker insights and stuff or our names on the Connection Hub.
Yeah.
But take a look, right? When you go into the Connection Hub, look at the branding.
Yeah.
You'll see the consistency of the colours, of the fonts. People don't feel jarred that they've gone from one to something that looks completely different. There's a nice flow, but there isn't our branding all over the Connection Hub.
No. But we did, and you know, that was a choice that we made very, very strategically around, do I feel like I'm in the same space? Do I feel like there's a seamless connection between these two things? Even though in the group, really, it is all about you. Whereas on the page, it's all about us. And actually, the way that we'd love to kind of help you remember this is...
I love this.
Yes, it is actually, you know, bearing in mind that you are speakers, authors, coaches, you want to get out there. So how we're likening this is the page is your stage. It's the place from which you broadcast, you share, you get out there in the world. The group is the after party. It's where people go, they hang out, like, and where you are the MC, you're the host of the party. So it's your job to really start the conversations and kind of make sure everybody's connecting to everybody else. You're the one that schmoozing it. Oh, apparently Bethan's getting it now. Like, see, I said this to Kelly earlier. I'm like, the page is your stage and the group is the after party where all the buzz is actually really happening. So and what we're really doing our best to highlight here is, what is their aspiration? If you think about what they really want, think about that, and can you name your group something that they go, oh, I need some of that?
Yeah. So what we're saying is the group, the after party, is where most of your content goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I was watching a Facebook Live by Matt Duggan. Some of you might know Matt Duggan. He's one of our experts on Facebook. And I'll probably tag him in the comments afterwards if people want to connect with him. But he was doing a Facebook Live last week, which I do agree on, which was actually, he was saying that content used to be king, right? That's what was a really well-known phrase. And people are jumping on that bandwagon and just churning stuff out. And actually he's saying, just stop it, right? Stop doing content if it's not really head and tails above everybody else's and giving lots of value. There are people thinking that I need to do a post every day, so therefore I'm going to take a picture of my dinner and there it is, there's my content,
Ta-da!
right? And people, or even memes to a degree, sometimes people just feel like memes are enough, but they're not always valuable, and sometimes it will just click and it will inspire people. So I'm not dissing memes, but if the only content you're putting out there is that, people get a bit bored of it after a while.
It's a little bit like Lisa's. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's just actually said, oh, and by the way, here's the thing that we do with our Facebook Lives. We're so intent on giving you valuable content that we're expecting that you know that we are embracing all of you, those of you who are watching live. We might mention you because you put a comment in, but just it's a blanket hello from us.
Just because it's my real pet hate, right? One of my things about doing Facebook Lives is I hate it when someone's in a flow of content and they do, hi John, hi Bob, and I'm like, just say what you were gonna say and don't say hi to everyone.
Yeah.
So we say a big hello.
A big hello right at the very beginning, and you know, we take it as read that you feel welcome
Feel the
in
love.
here, because actually what we really want to do is do the welcome. And probably right now you're thinking, what were we talking about? And that's our point. So but what I was going to say was Lisa has just highlighted that actually she gets much more engagement as her rather than, you know, posting as her page.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a good rule of thumb for most people, because people buy and connect to people, not the brand behind it, right? And so some of you will notice in the Connection Hub, when I respond to one of you and when Helena responds, you get a completely different feedback and feel from the messages. So let's get into some actual practical strategy. Obviously,
Yes.
I'm coming back on track. I want to help you, because I'm not saying don't do content,
No.
so don't take me for it, but I want you to get valuable content. And in order to resolve two problems that you're feeling, one, I don't have enough time to create content, and two, how do I get the engagement on my content?
Yeah.
So remember, content is predominantly going to be in your group rather than the Facebook Live that's on your page. So the first thing to do when you do your Facebook Live on your page, share it into your group, right? So it's the same content. So it's not saying you can't Facebook add it or get people to share it, but make sure that that valuable content is shared in your group. So there's a teach. As a rule of thumb, I would say for content for you, teach and add value 20% of the time, and attempt for your audience to provide 80% of the other content.
How do I do that,
Yeah,
Kelly?
right. This takes the hate off, but also gets people going. So one of those 20%, one of the 10% of value is sharing your Facebook Live into your group.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a real good teach, some value, people get to know you and you're positioned as an expert. The second thing I would say for you to do those things is share some form of resource, right? Whether it's something you've reviewed, something which is a tool, something which is maybe book reviews, whether it's an exercise that you do this week, whatever it might be, share that as another insight, because people want the things, well, what do you use to help you sleep at night? What do you use as your CRM software? All these types of things are the insights that people want to know, and that's the value that they get from being part of your group.
It's the tiny little tips that you might actually do. So let's say you're a wellness coach, or a mindfulness coach in some way. You might actually on a Wednesday or a Thursday every week share the meditation that might bring them peace for the rest of the weekend as they lead into it. Or
yes, Neil Jordan.
Exactly. Or it might be, as Kelly says, maybe you are a person who does, maybe you're an introvert, because we talked a little bit about this before, but you love to gather resources and you read a whole bunch of books. There's one person in particular, Don Beechino, that I can absolutely recommend this to. It would be his book review of the week and why you would use that particular business book. So you can find the thing that lets you showcase who you be, as well as providing resources with your insight and take on it. That will then stimulate other people and allow them to do what they want with it and start to talk and share their resources in some way. Now you've got organic engagement that allows people to actually feel connected to whatever it is you're doing.
And so, again, an example, Connection Hub, we do Making Tech Simple on a Wednesday, because we know our avatar hate technology. They don't want to do it. They're scared of it. They don't know how to use it. And we actually want to make it fun and simple for you. So every Wednesday, we share some sort of technology review insight that we find fun and simple to use, and tell you how you can incorporate that into building your business.
Yeah. And the same thing with, obviously I'm going to mention this one because the hashtag Friday Feeling is all about celebration. You know, it may well be that your avatar loves or doesn't have a place where they can celebrate all the good stuff that's going on for them, all the buzz in their business, all the things that are actually happening. So could you have some kind of accountability piece? For us, it's celebration. It's like, what is going well for you? Because we tend to forget all the stuff that's going well, and we get frustrated or stay in the frustration or overwhelm of, I'm trying to run my business and I don't know what's going on. So we've made the invitation on a Friday to go, so what's feeling really great and what are you excited about?
Yeah. And that actually flips in for me the 80%.
Yeah.
Right? So I've spoken about the 20% where you're providing the content. Facebook Live and some sort of review, resource,
And
tip,
teach.
right? They're the two things that is your content every week.
Yeah.
You can easily plan that out on a first Monday of the month and get everything written for the next 4 weeks and get it scheduled.
Yeah.
Then we move over to the 80% where your audience, your tribe in your group is actually providing you with the content. And Helena's just spoken about one of the ones, which is our most popular one. We say that we're only going for 3 weeks, but the one with us in our insights, we can see, we ask you on a Friday.
Kelly actually means Facebook Insights. So in your group, you can so this is the bit where I always have to catch her up. So she's going into Geekville, so making tech simple. Facebook, in your group, you can actually look at your settings and you can actually see who's doing what when inside a thing called your Insights.
Yeah, so it tells you what was the best time to post, what day, whether you've got more female or men in your audience, etc., etc. I will stop talking jargon.
Yes, please.
But on a Friday, we encourage you to tell us what's gone well that week, what you're grateful for, what your wins are. So all we do is we put the post up to ask you, and then you comment. So you guys are actually providing the majority of the content on the Friday, right? That's our most popular one because, as Helena said, as a speaker, author or coach, sometimes it's quite a lonely place, right? When you've done a little win and you want someone to give you a pat on the back, you want to
just
celebrate.
want that bit of recognition, don't you? You want to go, woohoo, that proposal landed, or whatever it is.
And then there's a couple of other ways to get the engagement.
Yeah.
So you can do something like Q&As, and you can also do things where you can ask for help, right? So we do curious Q&As.
Yeah.
And that's when people can ask, not just us, right? Because we're not the experts of everything. Everyone, a certain question that you're stuck on. So you guys can do that the same.
Yeah.
Or you could do ask for something particular. So on our call out to connect ones, people are asking to connect with a certain person, or can anyone recommend blah, blah, blah. So again, that could be something, that's all coming from you guys. You're asking the questions, and from the majority of the results, you're providing the solutions as well. So your audience is actually getting what they need, rather than I see a lot of people just putting content in and forcing it down people's throats when they haven't asked for it, and that's why they're not getting the engagement back.
And some of this comes back to that analogy of the group is actually the after party, and remember, you're the host of the party, so you'll probably see a lot of those requests come through, and because you're getting a sense of, or certainly in the way that we have, you've all been introducing ourselves, you might tag someone who might know the answer, because I don't know about you, but as human beings, we love to help other human beings, and so that in itself, if somebody asks a question, the chances are you go, I know something that could help you, and you quickly tap it in and you connect the dots, and that's how it is. So we obviously would love for you to do something with what we've just been sharing with you, and the most obvious next step for you is to go and look at your insights. For those of you who have a group, is to go and look at your insights. Or a page, indeed. And look at what's getting the most engagement, what is actually working for you at the moment, and when doesn't work for you. Get that information so that you can start to do things. And for those of you who don't have a group but who are now going, oh, I kind of get it, step into the shoes. I know, Bethan, it's like, well, hey, step into the shoes of your ideal client, of your avatar, and actually start thinking about, What is their aspiration? What could I call my group so that I can gather a collection of those people together so that we can actually have the delicious conversations. Sorry, delicious is my word. Hers is awesome. So that we can have those conversations in there. I can begin to stimulate those and contribute, because that's really what the group is about.
Yeah.
Remember, you're the host of the party.
So look at the Facebook Insights. You have got two different ones, one on your page and one on your group.
Yeah.
As I say, check out when are the best times that it's saying that most people are online. It tells you when the best time for you to post, that most people have seen it, and what day of the week is the most popular for you. Yeah. It tells you the agenda insights. And when you get to over 250 members, you can start breaking down into where are your customers based, what countries, what cities. So if you want to hold an event, you can actually start saying, well, actually, most of my people are based in Edinburgh, right? So I'm going to hold an event there rather than in London, where I thought I should do. One of my top tips, right, is once you've got those insights, then you can sort of like work out when you're going to do your post and your content. My caveat is Facebook Lives. Because the key with Facebook Lives is consistency.
Oh, yes.
Right? And if you are a speaker, author or coach, you need to choose a time that's going to be right for you every single week.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have to take the kids to school, or you're working on a certain thing, or you think, oh, I might get a keynote that day, or I have clients on this day, choose a time that's best for you rather than a time that's best for your audience.
Yeah.
Because some people I know, like my husband does it at 8 o'clock on a Monday night, because whether he's got a keynote or coaching sessions, he'll always be home by then. And we actually don't have our daughter on Monday night. She's with her mum. So it's a night where we're kid-free, right? So again, we don't have to deal with that. So think about what suits your lifestyle that you can commit to every single week. Our Speaker Insight days for admins are always Tuesdays. Yeah. So we know that we've got this time scheduled and we can do 1 p.m. because it works for us. Yeah. So that's the only caveat about when to post. I would normally look at your insights and post when your team's online, when all your avatars online, other than Facebook Lives. And the reason I say that
for you
is because 80% of people watch the replay.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have your people that works for you on the live, like you
We've got 8 of them at the moment. Hello to the 8 of you.
But then you look at the 300 people watch it afterwards, right? So that's when I want you to make sure you're doing it right for you, for consistency, for it to fit into your life.
Yeah.
So my challenge is go and check out your insights, and also work out a plan. What's going to go on your page as content?
Yeah.
What's going to go in your group? And work out for at least the next month the types of posts that you can add those 20% worth of value and teach, and the 80% of them providing the content, because all you're doing is starting the conversation, dropping the pebble into the stream, and letting the ripples happen without you.
Have you met Bob? Have you heard this? And all of that kind of stuff. Host of the party stuff, right?
Yes. So your page is your stage, your group is your party.
And off you go. That's us done for this Facebook Live. Look forward to seeing you in the group.
Yeah. Ask any questions if you've got them, guys, if you're on the replay, and say hi.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
Bye.